We all know what happened when Donald Trump went to the NABJ, the National Association of Black Journalists. Wasn't so good. Nah, it didn't go so well. In fact, it went bad for Trump from the word go.
Let's bring out the former president of the United States, the Republican nominee for president, former President Donald Trump. Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabbit to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even say, hello, how are you?
It was like he came in and it was like he walked into the slaughterhouse. He walked in the door and Cujo was sitting there and just, arrgh. This is how Kamala Harris was greeted at the National Association of Black Journalists.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're going to get right to it. Without further ado, Vice President Kamala Harris.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Madam Vice President, thank you so much for doing this and making the time.
Of course.
Just a little bit busy right now. We want to start on an issue that Americans across the country say is their #1 concern, and that's the economy.
Is there any difference at all? You guys notice a little difference in the way the energy felt light. Hi. I'm going to get right into the economy because that's what people care about. But when Trump came to the Black Association of Journalists, it was like, you don't like black people. We already know that. So why are you black? Why are you here, white man? Because you are a hateful Klan member. You're a skinhead under that wig. We know what it is. It's a totally different energy when Kamala came out there, guys. It's I just hope we can all admit that. You ain't gotta like him. You ain't gotta say, "Oh, Trump is great." I just want to point out the hypocrisy of the National Association of Black Journalists. That's obvious as hell. Like, Steve, you want to be like, I see a difference. There's a little bit difference in the way they treated Trump. The way they treated Trump is kind of different. They didn't treat Trump with any respect. They like Kamala though. They like Kamala.
Closely watch voting block. You've hosted black men at your residence.
Yep.
You have engaged black men and centered them in your economic opportunity tour.
Mm-hmm.
But polling shows that some black men, particularly young black men, are considering voting for Donald Trump, and they see him as better for the economy. What is your message to young black male voters who feel left out of this economy, and how can your economic policies materially change their lives?
So I appreciate the spirit of the question, but I'll tell you, I've often been asked this question in a way that I've had to respond by first saying that I think it's very important to not operate from the assumption that black men are in anybody's pocket.
I don't like this. I don't like this framing. And I know I've heard this before. This type of framing comes from, you don't have to be white to be doing well in America. There are a lot of black people doing well. They just don't know what doing well in America as a white person looks like. But when it comes to black people, they're doing well for black people. See, doing well for white people can mean, I don't know, $500,000 liquid in your accounts, plus 3 houses. Doing well as a black person could be making six figures and 20, 50 grand in the bank. Like, that's considered doing well in a job that's going to, pay you, or maybe you're a boomer and you retired from the post office or government, federal government. So there are these people that are doing well. We don't need to know this and we don't need to know that. Wasn't a lot of white guys complaining about the GI Bill. When FDR created the New Deal, wasn't a lot of white guys going, what? What are we doing this for? We don't need anything. I hear this type of talk from certain like intellectual black folks like Glenn Lowry, I forget the other guy's name, McWhorter, whatever his name is. They have a podcast. Smart guys, very smart guys, a lot of books. They have these conversations like black people are being looked down upon. They don't recognize the class divide that's in the black community. There are black people that don't give a damn what other people think about us. We need the assistance because we have generational problems that were caused on purpose by policies by the U.S. government. So we need remedies that fix that. It's not about we need to be in somebody's pocket. White people be in people's pocket all the time. The elites are in the pocket all the time. Corporations, those big corporations are in the pocket all the time. That's not considered being in the pocket when you get government subsidies, a top of government subsidy. They effectively pay no taxes. But no one considers that in the pocket. See, this is nothing. What she's talking about is that nonsense. Respectability politics. Well, we're more concerned how do we look to these people? What do they think about what? No, Nah. We beyond that, man. Black people dying, the black people are suffering, black people don't have the equity, the wealth gap is growing and growing and growing. We ain't got time to sit around worrying about do a couple of white people who already think whatever they're gonna think are thinking you getting the help. When they already get them, they get more welfare, they get more of everything. What are you talking about? They get more loans, they get more assistance from the government, they get more food stamps, get more subsidies, they get everything. We had to fight, we had to sue. Black farmers had to sue to get what white farmers got without having to sue. And that took 30 years. So let her keep going, man, but I just want us to be clear about what we're dealing with here, because there are going to be people that are going to side with this. But you got to listen really close, because she's talking that elitist shit, that working class black people cannot afford to get swept up in. Folks, it's hard out here than you think it is. All right? And people saying, I'm going to help small businesses, I'm going to tell you straight up, being in the business ain't for everybody. Being in business ain't for everybody, okay? Don't think it's just easy. Everybody could just jump out and start a business and then be successful. It's not for everyone.
Black men are like any other voting group.
No, they're not. Not any other voting group that's been systemically held back, demoralized, dehumanized, and emasculated by the government in front of their women and their children. No other man in America has that been done to consistently by government policies, intentionally by the FBI, by no one else that says has that happened to. So stop, don't fall for this. I don't care if it's D.L. Hughley, I don't care if it's Ricky Smiley, I don't care who it is. Do not fall for this. It's not, we ain't the same. And I love, look, I got a lot of white friends. I love white people. The ones that are cool with me, the ones I'm cool with, we friends. We're pals, we're tight. We're tight as hell. I got white friends I grew up with, people that I know, that I rock with, that I got love for, that I literally love, and I wish the best for their families. But they know and I know we different. We share similarities, but our families are different. They inherited their houses, and they still have them. Big Mama didn't get thrown out their houses. When Big Mama died, no one didn't have to sell the house. Upon generation, upon generation, upon generation, upon generation. We're not the same. Don't listen to this woman tell you that nonsense and you buy into it without any proof. On paper, we're not the same. When we start looking at our wealth, we're not the same. When we look at our outcomes in life, we're not the same. When we look at lifespan, we're not the same. When we look at demographic, we're not the same, Johnson. Don't you listen to this. This is another way for her not to do anything. This is what Roland likes. We have Roland Martin come out here and sell this, how she gave a great speech. And black people just need what white people got. No, we need, yeah, if that would work, if we were at the same, that would have worked 100 years ago. Then you could say we needed what everybody got. That's what we wanted after emancipation, to get what everyone else has got. But white people didn't start off that. They started off with 160 acres. White people started off with 160 acres. And we started off with 0 acres. You don't think that matters? And you got this woman sitting up here talking like it's nothing. Just to say, Kamala, just say you ain't trying to fix nothing. Just say it.
You got to earn their vote. So I'm working to earn the vote, not assuming I'm going to have it because I am black, but because not assuming I'm going to have it because I am black. Not assuming I'm going to have it because I am black, but because the policies and the perspectives I have understands what we must do to recognize the needs of all communities. And
Well, Lord it be. Kamala. Kamala, come on back to Jamaica, baby. Come home to Jamaica. Look who done turned blackity, black, black, blickety, black, black, black. She blacker than black, she blacker than black, she blickety, blickety, black, black, blickety, black, 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 blickety, 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 black, 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 blackety, blickety, blackety, blickety, blickety, blackety, black. She's Shannon Sharp black. Wesley Snipes black. Cicely Tyson black. Monique black. So y'all telling me, right? Oh, man, I know they dancing on this one, man. She said she black, y'all. What? She said she just told y'all she black. Shut up. Okay. Black woman, talk to me. Talk black to me. Talk black to me, black woman. Let's hear this.
understands what we must do to because I am black, but because the policies and the perspectives I have understands what we must do to recognize the needs of all communities. And I intend to be a president for all people.
So basically, yeah, I'm black. Just know that I ain't gonna do nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? Just as long as you know, look, I just said I'm black, and I'm saying I want you to know I'm gonna help everybody. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm here for everybody. Yeah, I'm black. Give me the vote because I'm black, but not because I'm black. But now you know I'm black. But don't give me the vote because I'm black. Give me the vote because I'm gonna help everybody. When people are going to realize that the Black House is on fire? So we need to put the fire out on the Black House. If you're saying we're going to start, we're going to put a new sidewalk, or we're going to do some landscaping for everybody's yard, don't put the fire out in the black community. Get what I'm saying? And she's saying, hey, I want you to know I'm one of you. And I'm going to go put some landscaping in everybody's house. Which would be fine for the blacks that don't have a fire in their house because they don't live in a black community anyway. Get what I'm saying?
Specifically as it relates to what we need to do, to your point around economic opportunity, Yes, I started way before I was at the top of the ticket at what I called an economic opportunity tour, focused on Black men. Understanding that, for example, we have so many entrepreneurs in the community who do not have access to capital, but they've got great ideas, an incredible work ethic, the ambition, the aspiration, the dream, but don't have the relationships necessarily. So my work has included, as vice president, getting billions more dollars into community banks, including working with the big banks to do that.
When you say they don't have the relationships, what you mean? They don't have relationships. They got relationships. They got baby mamas. They got friends. They got family. What you mean they don't have relationships? Oh, you mean benefactors. You mean connections to get money. You mean the network that white people have to help them be successful via maybe family members or a cousin, an aunt or uncle or what have you, that could contribute to the dream, that could help fund the dream, can give you, help you go work for your uncle and then you can, start your own thing or whatever. I'll make a phone call and let me put you in touch with, you mean that type of thing? That what you mean by relationships? Hookups. Let's call a thing.
So that we can increase access to capital for our small businesses, for our startups. Part of my plan under my economic opportunity plan going forward is that right now, startup entrepreneurs, small businesses only get a tax deduction of $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000.
I did. I started with less than that. You can't start a business with $5,000 or less. Now successful. There's now that word is, now we're going to have to start deciding what words mean. Successful, that's a different thing.
So I'm expanding that to $50,000. Understanding, again, that when people have the opportunity to have the resources to get started, they're going to put the good ideas, they're going to put the hard work into it. And part of what I also know is that our young Black men, our Black men, just like any group of people, anybody, are small business.
I don't like when she does this, man. This anybody, like anybody. Stop telling me it's the same. It's not the same. We are not the same. They ain't us. And that's not to say there's something wrong with them or something wrong with us. It's just different. A horse is not a cow and a cow is not a giraffe. These things are different based on the economics and demographics, the social impact, what has happened historically, what's happening now, what the forecast is, the reality, the education level, the systemic background, the help through family networks. All these things come to play. The treatment of the market, all these things matter. To say it's all the same. And folks, like I said, man, look, hey, I'm down, man. If you feel empowered, if you're excited about that $50,000, I get that and I understand that and I support that. I do support that. If she's helping small businesses, good. I'm not up here to dump on that. I'm up here to tell the truth, though. Your business will only be successful if you have a successful business plan, ability to run it, access to the talents and skills in order to run that business. It ain't a job, it's a business.
Businesses are really the backbone of our economy overall, and when they do better economically, we all do better. Part of my work is about understanding what we need to do in dealing with, for example, the historic inequities that have faced the Black community around home ownership, right? I don't have to go through the history with anybody here about what that has meant in terms of redlining, what that has meant in terms of bias.
So then why are you going through it then? We already know this story. Don't do this. This is going back to the stump speech. This is what she tells everybody. We ain't trying to hear this, man. Basically, what she's saying, she ain't going to specifically do a damn thing for Black people. She's not focused on that. That's not important to her. And she can't get elected doing that, so why even try? right? What I'm saying is, if you're not going to do that specifically, why should we care if you get elected? See, it's a catch-22. If you say, I can't get elected helping black people because the country's way too racist and no one's going to allow me to do it, I say, okay, I hear you talking. Coward. That's first thing, you're a coward. Second, you can do more than you think you can if you were willing to risk doing it. And third, if you're telling me you're not going to do anything specifically for me, why should I specifically vote for you? And then you begin to give me word salad and tell me how it's going to help everybody. Everybody don't have a house on fire. Their house not on fire over there. So this is the conundrum that we in, folks.
And home appraisals, and the impact it has had on stemming the opportunity to build intergenerational wealth because of those obstacles. So part of the work that I have done and will continue to do is identify, speak truth about those obstacles, and address them. Another example is medical debt. 1 in 4.
Now we're going to go to all the policies that I support that have nothing to do with you, black people, because you're at the bottom of the bottom, you may disproportionately be beneficiaries if you live long enough to take advantage of these programs. So let me go through a string of things that I'm doing for everybody that you may also benefit from.
Black families or individuals is more likely to carry medical debt than others. So part of my perspective, and as vice president, part of the work that we have done is to say that we're going to eliminate medical debt from being on your credit score. Because until now, medical debt worked against your credit score, and people know their credit score like your weight, right?
Who told her that? Who told her people know a credit score like they know their weight? Probably D.L. Hughley. Who told you that line? Was it Steve Harvey? Was it Ricky Smiley? Was it DL? Was it Wanda Sykes? Who told you that line that you are now repeating? Somebody goofy told them that. Most people do not know their credit score like that. They know if they can get a credit card, though. That they do know. They know if they can qualify to get a car loan. That they know. But their score, they might not know that.
You know that number. And the difference between what that number is and what it needs to be is the difference between you being able to get a car loan, a small business loan, or even a leasing on an apartment. And so part of my approach is understanding the obstacles.
A lot of people can't get loans, not just because they got medical debt, but because they have no money. They don't have credit. They don't have the right kind of credit because they can't get a loan. Are you going to help them be able to get a loan? All this money put into the SBA, you got to still qualify for it, don't you? Keep talking about these loans. You got to qualify to get the loan. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. You still got qualifications, right? We're not just giving a guy hanging out at the liquor store who hasn't worked in 10 years a loan. So what are the qualifications to get the loan? Everybody can't get one, right? So what do you have to get the loans that you're talking about?
That traditionally and currently exist to allow anyone, including Black men, be able to achieve economic wealth.
There you go, guys. So look at it this way, Tim Black. Look at it this way, Black America. It's not that Kamala's doing something for you, but at least she's not excluding you from it. Yeah. So don't look at it like, damn, Kamala's not doing anything for us. Look at it like Kamala's not excluding us. Happy? Don't sound as good when you look at it different ways, do it?
And I'm going to tell you, I don't think it is sufficient to just only talk about economic policy around reducing unemployment. It is an important marker, and I'm proud of the work that we've done thus far. But it should be a baseline there, everybody's working. The point is, do people have an opportunity to build wealth? If that's what they choose to do, if that's what they want to do. And a lot of my perspective as we go forward is just that. I believe that there are a lot of opportunities that are available to the American people if we just see, if we see people and understand
Lord have mercy.
what they want for themselves and their families, and then meet them where they are.
Madam Vice President, I want to
Jesus Christ, that was a lot of talking to say a whole lot of nothing. Once again, guys, I got no problem with you. If you want a loan, that's great. And I'm not knocking that loan. I'm just saying. Some of the things she's saying it sounds, she's saying it, she's taking a long time to say it, and it's not as impactful when you boil it down. Basically, what she's saying is, I'm black, and I ain't gonna do that for black people specifically. It's the same thing she said. She just dressed it up. She flowered it. She peppered it with, hey, I know life is tough. I know things are bad. You got 2 left feet. Your pants don't fit. Your hairline's crooked. You know, your breath, you got halitosis, and you got the gout, and you got diabetes, and, you know, and look, I got you. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I rocks with, you know, black people, you know, when at my house sometime. And I get it. And look, I'm not going to treat you worse than I treat white people. Okay? Now, what about those votes, Blackie? That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. Now tell me how what I'm hearing is wrong. And don't give me that she can't get elected nonsense if she does anything, Tim, because I'm going to look you in the face and I'm going to say, well, if she can't get elected helping black people, why should black people elect you? Okay, that's not the only one, though. Let's go to number 3, because now it's going to get real spicy. That wasn't even the most spicy part. That was just her turning black. Let's go to reparations.
Last month, you eulogized Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee.
Yeah.
Jackson Lee's signature bill, one of a few, was H.R. 40, which would create a commission to study the history of U.S. slavery and study the issue of reparations. She introduced H.R. 40 every session of Congress, taking up the mantle from Congressman John Conyers. This is a bill that you have co-sponsored as a U.S. Senator. Yet, this has, despite the fact that this has been, similar commissions have been created on the state level and on the local level, is yet to pass in Congress, let alone come out of committee. Congresswoman Jackson Lee, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, and other advocates have called for President Biden to take executive action to create this commission. Would you, as president, take executive action to create this commission, or do you believe that it should happen in Congress?
No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. That's the short answer to your question. She will not take executive action to do what she could do without help, which is one of the reasons why I wrote my book, Presidential Power, Presidential Impact. Go to presidentialimpact.com. Actually, the name of the book is How President Can Impact the World Without Congress. Because presidents don't need Congress to make changes that impact your world. I wanted to push back on Crockett and Roland Martin and all these people that want to tell me she got to go through Congress. As this young man just pointed out, she don't have to go through Congress for this. His question is, will you push reparations? Will you write an executive order? That's the question. Let him ask one more time since I talked. Let him ask himself, and then we'll go to her response.
To create this commission, would you, as president, take executive action to create this commission, or do you believe that it should happen in Congress?
Well, first of all, as you mentioned, Sheila Jackson Lee, she was an extraordinary leader who we just recently lost, and she was a friend and a real champion for so many issues. So I feel compelled to say that about her. On the issue of what we need to do going forward, look, first of all, we just need to speak truth about history in spite of the fact that some people would try and erase history and try and teach our children otherwise.
Here we go. They racist over there. Before I say anything, remember, we got a bunch of racists over there, okay? They want to erase our history. Your history. History. Now, let me do some more distracting.
We need to speak truth about the generational impact of our history in terms of the generational impact of slavery, the generational impact of redlining, of Jim Crow law. I could go on and on and on.
Yeah, you sure can, and you are going on and on and on. Are you going to start a commission via executive order to study reparations, to move the ball and then move it to a vote or not?
These are facts that have had impact. And we need to speak truth about it. And we need to speak truth about it in a way that is about deriving solutions.
See, at least Trump would just say no so we can move on. You know, because Trump was probably, no, not probably, Trump would say no. I don't see how we can do that. You can't do that. I actually respect that better than this garbage I'm getting.
And frankly, I think that we, and part of that is studying it to figure out exactly what we need to do. But part of what we can do right now is, for example, what I'm talking about in terms of building an opportunity economy, which is addressing explicitly the obstacles that historically and currently exist and dealing with them. Student loan debt, medical debt, bias in home appraisals. What we need to do in terms of dealing with an issue that I have championed for years, Black maternal mortality, which is the fact that Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die in connection with childbirth than other women. And we know that the reasons for that include disparities that pre-exist her pregnancy, including disparities that exist in the system during her pregnancy. So all of those things must be addressed.
But do you have a position on whether that should happen, this commission should happen through executive order or via Congress?
I think Congress ultimately will have the ability.
Woo! My life, my life, my life, my life in the sunshine. All that talking. Just to say, no. We should keep doing what we've been doing, which is nothing. I'm Black.
Ability to do this work. I'm not discounting the importance of any executive action, but ultimately Congress. Because if you're going to talk about it in any substantial way, there will be hearings, there will be a level of public education and dialogue that, and I think that was part of the spirit behind the congressional action thus far, to ensure that everyone can participate in this conversation.
Ah, good Lord have mercy, guys, like a torture chamber, Johnson. Yeah, I need to talk and talk. And let's go. Let me talk as much as I possibly can to get you away from the horrible answer I just gave you. Yeah, let me extend it. Let me extend this so that your last thought is not, I said no. Guys, when we gonna wake up and realize what people be doing, man? You know what I'm saying? And I know I know I do this for a living. So I know what she's doing because she's not the first politician I've covered. Amy Klobuchar does this. Cory Booker does this. Lots of Republicans do it. A lot of people do it. It's what people do. It's a lot of politicians do this. Get to explain it away after they tell you some more bogus shit. All right, folks. Nothing to see here. So reparations, guys, it has not moved to the floor. It hasn't been voted on. It's just like California. Same thing. And you got to ask yourself, what's better for you? People that tell you straight up, hey, this is not going to happen under me. I'm not going to push for it. I think there's other things we could do. Or would you like somebody that says the same thing, but takes 20 minutes to say it? It's saying the same thing. It's the same answer. I don't see the difference. I'm going to be the most powerful person in America, and no, I'm not going to do anything with the power to help you. Yeah. All right, moving on. Let's go to Joyful. They're going to ask Kamala Harris here this question about why is she always laughing and giggling and stuff and acting all, chipper?
Make of Republicans using that as a way to suggest that you're not a serious candidate?
Well, sometimes I think, and I'll
You laughing.
a minute ago, though. Okay, I'm back to my joyful part.
And your opponent and Republicans have at times weaponized you laughing in campaign ads, for example. Why is joy important to you to insert into this election? And what do you make of Republicans using that as a way to suggest that you're not a serious candidate?
Well, sometimes I think, and I'll say to whoever the young people are who are watching this, there are some times when your adversaries will try and turn your strength into a weakness. Don't you let them.
I don't know if it's a strength to laugh at things that aren't funny. Now, me, I make jokes to make the harsh parts go down, a little bit, to make them more palatable. Because if not, what I'm saying is pretty grim. And add a little bit of personality to what I'm doing, but Kamala, you take forever to say the real shit. And I don't think it's a positive when you be cackling about things that aren't funny. At least I make jokes that are at least somewhat funny when I make funnies, but your funnies are not funnies. You are laughing at something that's not funny. And that's not considered funny or humorous. It's just weird.
Don't you let them. I find joy in the American people. I find joy and optimism in what I see to be our future and our ability to invest in it. I find joy in the ambition of the people. I find joy in the dreams of the people. I find joy.
I find joy in kissing the right asses and getting the right jobs that'll put me in the right position to now possibly be president. I find joy in not being a working poor person in America. I find joy in finding my way to be able to live this beautiful life that I live, that you have no chance to live it, mainly because I ain't gonna do nothing to make sure that happens for you. I found joy in being me. To have a bunch of have a bunch of smart liars, people looking out for themselves, willing to throw you under the bus so that I can achieve my level of joy, so that they can achieve their own levels of joy. And that's a joyful thing. And I'm sorry you can't share in the joy, because it's joyful to be a winner like me.
In building community. I find joy in building coalitions. I find joy in believing that the true measure of the strength of a leader is not based on who you beat down, but who you lift up. And
Up stump speech time. It's time for the stump speech. Let me think about the part of my stump speech that I could say here that I think would be most applicable to put people to sleep and also make people that never heard it go, wow, she's such a good speaker.
And I think we should all find joy and have a sense of optimism about who we are as Americans and what we mean to each other.
Nah, we shouldn't all find joy, man. We need to get riled up and mad. We need to get pissed off. We need to get indignant, straight up indignant about what's happening to our communities, what's happening to us, how we're being treated, how we're being lied to, the misinformation, the disinformation, the accusations, and the piling on of the Democratic Party operatives onto the rest of America who just wants a fair shake out of their media and out of their government. We should be livid. We should be pissed off, man. We should wake up with our fist balled up. From what's going on with the food, what's going on with the water, what's going on with the mass and mass incarceration, what's going on with the media industrial complex, with the MSDNC, the CNN always lying. we should be upset all the time about what's happening. The censorship, the over-the-top censorship, the bogus treatment of working people in this country, the money we spend on wars, we should all be ticked off. If you ain't upset, if you're joyful, that's because you ain't paying attention. You are clouding off. You're either self-medicating or you're in a great position where you don't have to actually focus on the real things that are going on in this country. You can take mental breaks and escape it all, escape reality. That's called being an addict. That's called having a substance abuse problem. Because if you are only seeing joy, if you are joyful in America, but to the point where you don't know what's going on, that everything I just cited, you're oblivious to it, that's not joy, that's delusion. And that's living in a bubble. You're living in a bubble. It's like you're on a train, riding, you're like one of those people that rides, that goes to like one of these West Indian countries, and you're going to the resort and you're driving through the horrible parts of town, looking out the window. That's you. Just till you get to your resort.
And what we can do to lift each other up.
Madam Vice President,
Madam,
President Biden spoke to former President Trump after the attempt on his life this weekend. Have you spoken to him?
I have.
And earlier today, I assume?
Yes.
How'd that go? You want to give us some intel?
Sure. I checked on him to see if he was okay.
Yeah.
And I told him what I have said publicly. There's no place for political violence in our country. I am in this election and in this race for many reasons, including to fight for our democracy. And in a democracy, there is no place for political violence. We can and should have healthy debates and discussion and disagreements, but not resort to violence to resolve those issues.
On January 6th, your vehicle was allowed to kind of
Yeah, people shouldn't try to kill Trump. Next question. All right, guys, look. It is what it is. I guess if the bare minimum is acceptable to you, that Kamala says, hey, I am black. If that's enough, if that's what you were waiting on, for her to say, I am black, she said it. And then she said, I ain't gonna do nothing for you because I'm black and because you're black. There it is. I don't see a major difference in that over anybody else that's running. Well, I should say Trump, because I think Dr. Cornel West has a different message. I think Dr. Jill Stein has a different message. I think Claudia de la Cruz has a different message. But as it pertains to Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, I think that's the same message, right? We got some decisions to make, Johnson. We got some decisions to make. Kamala Harris, she spoke, she talked. National Association of Black Journalists should be ashamed of themselves for the polarity, the disparity between how they treated Trump and how they treated Kamala. There's a lot of reasons not to give Kamala an easy interview, but they gave her one. Anyway, they didn't once, accuse her of anything or come at her hard about anything. I do like the fact that one guy did basically ask the same question and force her to say no, because she would have just left it ambiguous, like, oh yeah, black people go through everything and types of problems, and yeah, commission, commission, yeah. And I like Sheila Jackson Lee, and I respect her. Okay, well, but are you gonna do this by executive order? Or are you gonna wait for Congress? Wait for Congress. Same thing Sheila Jackson Lee was doing. Which she can't do an executive order. Sheila Jackson Lee was not in the power, she didn't have the authority to do an executive order. Won't Biden do an executive order before he leaves? That's right, Biden don't like you. Right? That could win the election for her. I'm serious, guys. That would be a problem for Trump. I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to put that out in the ether. That could happen. But what would they be able to offer Biden for doing it? Because she could back away from it like she usually does. She could flip-flop. Imagine being a co-sponsor of a bill but not wanting to do an executive order to get the bill done when you have the power to do that. She has an executive order to start a commission. Remember, folks, this ain't about cutting checks. This is just a study. White guys, don't be afraid. We're not talking about money yet. We're just talking about a study. She is a co-sponsor for a bill for a study. Now that she is running to be the president, she doesn't want to say, okay, I'm going to make sure the study happens. Proving her being a co-sponsor meant absolutely nothing. Zero. Nada. Finito. Okay? That's what it means. And that's why I say it don't mean something. Well, it doesn't mean anything just because someone says, I sponsor, I support. Yeah, it's about what you do. Go to presidentialimpact.com, get a copy of my free ebook where I show you in history using actual presidential actions that have been taken by other presidents, what a president can do without the help of Congress. Stop being lied to, stop falling for the banana in the tailpipe.